call the, what's today, September 12th meeting of the Board of Health to order. It is the 12th, right?
It is.
Yes.
So the agenda has the possibility of going into an executive session. There's no new information to discuss, so if everyone's in agreement, we'll just skip the executive session and go to the agenda. You guys are okay with that?
Yep. You
Okay.
don't need to vote or anything else.
So the first item on the agenda would be public input, and we have no public, so we have no public input. Next item on the agenda, old business, the Westford Road noise complaint. There was correspondence that we received from the police chief, and the police officers, I think on at least 5 occasions, went by there and noticed no trucks idling, no change in terms of what the usual noise is.
Yeah.
I spoke to the plant manager, his name is Nick Green, super nice guy, and I said it's just as a courtesy call, which we had talked about the last meeting, and he said they will post signs, but trucks do not idle in the parking lot. Trucks come and trucks go picking things up. And he said the refrigeration units have to be running because what they drop off and pick up is refrigerated, and I totally understand that. But other than that, there's been nothing that Bridget has seen, that the police department, or that I've noticed, or any other complaints. So I guess my thought is at this point in time, there's no further action that this board needs to take.
The residents' letter is interesting because there's such a disconnect between what everybody's seeing and what she said. Is there anything else out there that could make a noise like that? Is this possible the noise is coming from somewhere else?
I don't think so. The chillers are on the roof of the building. The chillers run because the temperature.
Yeah.
So you might pick up the noise from the chillers, but in terms of trucks idling in the parking lot, that is not happening. And
Yeah, I got you. Yeah.
and he's going to post it. But he said it's not happening. And I can understand that. If I was paying $6 a gallon for diesel fuel, I wouldn't let my trucks idle either. You know?
Well, do you know what she talks about generated trailers packed at the dock. So does that mean, do they have any trailers that just have like a cooler generator that they're using for storage outside the facility? Did you notice?
No. And I believe that the refrigeration units are exempt as well in terms of running because they have to run.
Exactly, yeah. Yeah, I think the refrigeration units do have to run on the trucks. I was just wondering if there was a distinction there. Okay.
And was there also, are you looking at the original, was there also mention of the time of day? Was it early?
Yeah, between 3 and 5 a.m.,
Yeah.
but it said that it sometimes will run until 9 p.m. constantly. So that's what I'm saying. It's like such a mismatch. So
And no other residents complained?
No.
no.
Okay.
I also went into the parking lot of that where the resident was complaining he could not.
And there wasn't anything like that.
No.
So I think we did our due diligence. We looked into it, and there's nothing new to report.
Yeah, I think we've done what we can at this point.
Yeah.
I mean, if it continues, I would encourage the resident or any other residents to contact us again.
Yep.
Right.
Okay.
Bridget, you want to talk about COVID? No. That's an easy one, isn't it?
Yeah, I mean, I have not really heard too much. I think the last numbers, I don't even know if I opened that email, to be honest.
The last numbers, the town had gone down below the state and the county level.
Yeah, I mean, the bacteria kind of took over for.
Yeah.
So other than, I mean, I haven't really had any complaints. We do offer the COVID tests in our office as well if people want to pick them up. So we have had some people come in and pick them up.
So I
We just
saw
put 'em out.
an email that there were more tests available. I don't think we need any more
Did
tests.
see that, yeah.
Yeah.
Do you? I mean,
How are we doing with supplies? Because you have some, right?
I do. My box is almost empty.
So I think we have 4 more cases.
How many are in?
There's 90 in each case.
I'd say I have like 15 left.
So
Okay.
And
And you
then-
were on that's still the case that you were on in the last meeting, right?
Yeah.
Because you had 5 to start.
I had just one case. There was 90 in it. I have.
Oh, I thought you had 5. Who has 5? Is
so we
that
have
you guys?
extras.
Oh,
No,
okay.
they're here. They're in the
Somewhere.
they're
Somewhere, okay.
yeah, I think they're still in the Great Hall.
I was gonna look for
Okay,
some.
they're stored up
If
there.
people
okay.
keep coming, but
Yeah.
it's definitely slowed down.
So we have, I think there's maybe 4 or 5 there, and then the fire, police,
Yeah,
senior center.
Okay.
Yeah.
We
I
have
think we need more.
3 cases in our office, and we leave them out.
yeah,
Jim.
it should be okay.
So I,
Seems like.
And I'll say after the first week, it's been more staff taking the tests than anyone else. So
Yeah,
Okay.
yep. Swirl.
there was a lot on election
So
day.
that's all we had under old business. Under new business, let's take up the easy thing first, which is PACE.
Yeah.
So you guys know more about this than I do. They came in routinely prior to COVID, is that?
We had a couple of meetings where they joined us to, kind of,
Update.
give us more of the details on the PFAS
So
study.
do you want to ask them if they're available to come into our first meeting in October? Or a
Yeah,
second
actually,
meeting?
I think that probably would be good timing.
Yeah.
Now that they have a site and they're,
Yeah.
they're a little bit farther along in it, I think it would be good to get a status update.
Yeah.
Okay.
An update.
Sam, can you get in touch with, it's Lori, right? Lori
You're
Neary.
near it.
Yeah.
And see if she's available and wants to come in to the board meeting on the first one in October. So whatever that date
Doesn't
is.
the first one interfere with a holiday?
Oh,
Is it?
Is
I
that the
think so.
Columbus Day thing?
I think it's the Columbus Day thing.
From last time?
we said, okay, 12th and the 26th, but we hadn't gotten to,
October.
yeah.
We could do one schedule in October, make it that kind of middle week.
Okay.
And then if we need to do another one, then we would have the following week, because after that, isn't the next Monday like Halloween already?
I don't have a calendar
So,
for me.
right, so October, like Sam said, the 10th is the
Columbus Day.
holiday.
Yeah,
So you want to meet the 17th?
17th or the 24th.
yes.
We're already
17th.
scheduled, we're already scheduled for the 24th, so if we meet the 17th, we can see if we need to meet on the 24th.
That's what I was thinking, is we could just do, do the
Wanna do
meeting
that?
on the 17th and then kind of play it by ear for the next
Okay.
one.
Okay. So let's leave it posted as it is. We'll reschedule the meeting of the 10th to the 17th.
Yeah,
Okay?
that sounds good.
And if you can ask Laura if she is available or wants to come in.
Yep, absolutely.
Okay.
You did the dates through the end of the year, right?
We did.
And how did we do, I know we always do something oddball in November and December, or did we just do normal
I
dates
thought
or what?
because November and December with holidays, it was like
We usually end up having one meeting.
at least one.
Yeah.
We don't usually need to unless we're like deep into something.
Right,
We may be by
yeah.
then.
I know,
Well,
that has happened before at that time of year.
I said just leave it alone for now and then we can
Yeah.
Yeah, okay.
adjust it as needed.
Yeah, okay, that sounds good.
Okay. So,
There is a PACE meeting tomorrow morning at 10, and there's a Zoom link that was sent out for that.
Yeah.
It's always at 10 a.m. on a Tuesday when I have a standing client call, so that there's not Yeah,
And I
there isn't
can't.
much I can do, unfortunately, because I know she'll be repeating here a lot of the things from that, but such is life.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's all we can do.
Okay.
So the other item under new business is the toxic algae bloom on Sandy Pond.
Mm.
So I had mentioned before you got here, Bridget, and I talked to you about this. I knew of 2 dogs that died in Maine as a result of a toxic algae bloom. And looking at Sandy Pond, I called Bridget, I want to say last Tuesday. It was last Tuesday. And I said, Bridget, I think we need to take a look at Sandy Pond. And you went down and you walked on the dock, I think. And then was it Wednesday you went down and took samples, right?
Yes.
And
And
by,
the pictures,
yeah,
we sent those to the state, the pictures.
by Thursday morning, the state had confirmed it was a toxic algae bloom,
Yes.
right? And the posting, Bridget, you did the majority of that, and Heather, I believe, in
Mhm.
terms of, so it's toxic for humans. It can be lethal for animals. The fishing part of it still escapes me. I don't
Yeah.
understand that. There's nothing that says you can't fish, but I wouldn't want, you're not supposed to come in contact with the water, is my understanding, and if you do, to rinse off.
Right, and that's what, we said it's like for recreational stuff. So I kind of just lump everything in that.
Yeah.
I saw a guy
Yeah.
fishing and told him, I'm like, I don't,
Yeah.
Yeah.
he's like, I think he was just trying to escape. He's like, I throw the fish back in. I'm like,
Yeah, okay,
So
yeah.
he knew,
right,
he saw the
yeah.
signs. He
Yeah.
was actually fishing in Flanagan Pond though, so
Yeah.
on
Right.
the other side.
Gotcha.
My understanding is it's a natural occurrence. It's not due to contamination or
Yeah.
anything else.
Yeah.
And living on the pond for the last 50 years, the pond level is probably down 4 or 5 feet right now.
That's amazing.
So the pond isn't draining into Flanagan's Pond, so the water becomes stagnant. And I believe that the heat from the summer and the stagnation is probably the principal cause of
Yeah.
what's going on.
Yep.
But in terms of timing, we're testing the water, what, weekly, Bridget? Or
So we have a machine, it's, I forget the name of it, but, that just does, I don't even know, I wish I could remember the name of the machine, but, so we'll take the water sample and we put it in that, and it gives us a cell count, and it was like over 70,000 today, I think. I just took one before I got here. So that in itself would be enough to make a call, but
Yeah.
the visual also is enough to make a call. And
Yeah.
I don't anticipate it going away anytime soon.
I think the water's
Yeah.
going to have to get colder.
Yeah,
Yeah.
it's just,
Yeah.
so we'll just keep monitoring it, looking at it, and at some point, maybe next week, grab another sample. I go every
Yeah.
day and visually look at it from the beach part, just to see if there's any difference.
Gotcha.
And it's
Well,
still,
luckily, it's the end of the season. If it was July, I mean, mid-August or July, I'm trying to keep people out of
Oh,
it. It'd be
yeah. Yeah.
so
Yeah.
much harder.
Yeah.
But I think Bridget did a fantastic job with the posting. It's
Yes.
posted all
Mhm.
over.
Definitely.
And then Bridget and I talked about the signboards, and I believe the signboard at the police station
yes,
had an announcement. The chief was very cooperative in terms of, he was very good about the whole
yeah, I mean,
thing.
kudos to everyone, because within minutes they responded, and
Wow.
I believe there's
That's
one
great.
down at the,
The
sign down at the-
DPW put a signboard up at the
That's it.
town beach.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And
Good.
Robert did a reverse 911
Yeah,
call
he did.
on
Okay.
Thursday
That
and
was
Friday.
fantastic. Yeah.
So I think we covered all of our bases.
yep,
Anyone that had dogs down at Sandy Pond that I knew, I called them and just
Yeah.
told them to be careful.
Yeah.
I was surprised though, Friday I went, because I was talking to Steve about it, and I went for a ride, and there was nobody at the beach, but the gate was wide open.
Yep.
which I was kind of wondering, they
So-
were gonna lock that up.
So I did talk to Jeff and about that, and
Yeah.
they do have other activities there where
Oh.
kids play
Oh,
different sports and
basketball.
stuff.
Oh, I see.
Yeah.
Oh.
So,
Yeah.
but they have, I think the signage was pretty good. I mean, there's a
Yeah.
big sign down there that says no swimming.
Clear.
They have that fencing up right before the beach.
Right.
So
Keep that up.
made me getting my sample pretty difficult today.
Oh, yeah.
You can come over to my house and do it.
So, but yeah, no, I mean, everyone has been fantastic, and I think as soon as we knew what we were dealing with, it was posted very quick.
Yeah.
So,
What did you say your values were for the cell count?
70
today
bucks.
is like, I think 70,000, but the one from last week
Was really crazy,
I
yeah.
think Ira couldn't even chart it out. It like went off the chart. So,
Yeah,
So I think that from the Board of Health perspective, we covered all of our bases in terms of doing what we need to do, and I thought you did a great job, so
Thank you.
thank
Yeah,
you.
thank
And
you.
thank
Yes,
you to
thank you.
Neshoba and the police chief and the fire chief and
DPW,
DPW.
everyone.
Yep.
I mean, it made our job easy too.
Mm.
And I would just keep saying maybe cycle it through on social media just to make sure, because I feel like that's probably where a lot of people get.
That's true, yeah.
Just to keep reminding them, because it's not, even though the signs are still down there, I don't
Right. yeah.
anticipate it.
We also asked about Flanagan's Pond, and the feeling was there's no detectable color change in the pond,
Mhm.
and they didn't feel as though Flanagan's was under the same health advisory as Sandy Point.
Mm, yeah.
It's today, Tuesday, Monday. I'm gonna try and go over to Flanagan Pond itself. I couldn't find an entry point today. And I have to get, looks like I'm probably gonna have to, at the beach, I can sit on the,
So, suggestion for Flanagan's is Central Avenue. That drains under Central Avenue at the intersection of Groton Harvard Road and Central Ave. And there's a fishing spot right there where it would drain out.
okay.
So if you are gonna get a sample, that would probably be the best place, because you're gonna catch whatever's draining out of the pond.
Okay.
Yeah.
It's across from the air moving and storage. The air moving and storage, and then it will be,
Okay, yeah.
there's like a,
Is that where
There's a
the
few
pump station
houses.
is?
The what is?
The pump
it's,
station?
no, the pumping station is further up.
Quite a ways further
Yeah.
down, yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Groton Harvard Road crosses right down here where the flashing light is.
Yeah, it's before
Just-
the gym.
Just past that on the left.
Okay. Central near air moving. Okay.
I'm just looking at the health advisory for it. So you have to have 2 successive samples collected a week apart
Correct.
with the cell counts below, so,
Correct.
yeah.
So the state will actually, so what we're doing is just this, I don't know if it's different from what the state uses for,
Yeah.
I'm assuming
yeah,
it is, because those water samples that this
I was
taken by the state
yeah.
is, I think they're $300 a piece, and you send them out.
Mm,
So
yeah.
I don't know if they're gonna come out and do those, because
Oh.
it's past swimming season. So
Oh,
that's
okay.
usually what they do, is they'll do them, I think, around the area of the swimming, the bathing area. So they
Okay.
might not actually take the samples. So what we can do is watch for the color to change back
Yeah,
to normal.
Yeah. yeah.
And then at least we have that meter that we can use to kind of gauge a little bit.
Yeah,
I mean,
that makes sense, yeah. Because if they're $300 a sample, no sense sending them out when we can still see the mat and we
Right.
know it's, yeah, so, yeah. That makes sense.
Anything else on Sandy Pond? We good? So moving on, under new business, which isn't scheduled, but we had a written complaint today from Pleasant Street about rodents in the area. The animal control officer has been notified. I believe she has gone up that way. In terms of definitive information, all we have is the letter, which I haven't had a really good chance to absorb the whole thing yet. But I think that the steps that we should take are to investigate and see if there's anything in the area which would be causing a rodent problem.
Yep.
There was a suggestion that there's an abandoned house up there. Abandoned property, is that building inspector?
It can be.
Let's ask the building inspector to take a look at the abandoned house to see if that's an issue. And then Julie is gonna look into,
So yeah, Julie's gonna look into it as well, and then I was gonna kind of follow up with her to find out there are two big things that cause rodents. One is chickens, chicken feed.
Yep.
The other is bird feeders. And again, it depends for the birds. In the past, it's been blatantly obvious. I wasn't in Ayer, but someone was dumping the bag of bird food on the ground, and there are other things that you can kind of look at is construction, anything new going on. The rats are nocturnal and they're pretty much everywhere. So what is making them come out? And that can be, there's certain types of brush where they hide under. So you look for basically construction, natural environment, bird feeding, and then chicken coops. What happens is they burrow underneath the coop sometime.
how about garbage though?
And garbage, yes.
Garbage is a
yes.
big attraction.
Overflowing dumpsters. So.
Yeah.
And that's something in a residential neighborhood we'll look. It's not so bad now that people have individual trash pickup. It's easier if they're doing that. They don't have trash accumulating out in their yard.
Yeah.
So we just you just basically drive up and down.
But I would encourage anyone that lives in that area that is also having a problem. What was the address? 83 Pleasant Street. In the upper end of Pleasant Street that's having a rodent problem, to contact the Board of Health and let us know.
Yes.
And then I think we should put this down as a specific agenda item to follow up at the next meeting. And invite Julie to be here as well in terms of what she's found. Does that sound reasonable?
That does sound good. Yeah.
Bridget?
I mean, we could either invite her or I think what I was just going to ask her is.
I'd like to invite her because I haven't seen her.
Yeah.
Once a year is a good thing.
Do we
I think
have
we
any,
have to pay her too.
Exactly.
So if she doesn't show up, she doesn't get paid.
Do we have any outstanding chicken permits? Do you know?
Not that I know of. I'd have to double check.
Okay. Yeah, so that was the only question I was going to ask Julie is that do you have a list of?
I have the list.
Okay. Just look at who's up there and just see if she's had any problems with anything up there.
Yep.
I don't know. Sometimes I can see them visually, the hoops from the road, but so other than that.
Well, I thought it was a very well-written letter. It's just asking for our assistance. So, did you talk to the lady that wrote this letter, or?
Not yet.
I'll reach out to her as well, just to let her know we're going to look into it.
Yep.
It'll be on the agenda for next meeting.
Sounds good.
You guys okay with that?
Yeah, absolutely. Her point is a good one, that they're well fed. So,
Awesome.
Lovely.
yeah, there's some source of sustenance around for them.
Okay. Neshoba update. Anything?
I did a housing inspection today.
Yeah.
That will be coming down in the next envelope on Hatch Street. Nothing major. I did call the representative for the landlord, and they're very responsive. I'm going to send a certified mail out and then it's Brady Sullivan.
Yep.
Send an email to their attorney's office so that they can start working on it as soon as possible. So other than that, I sent a second notice to William Street regarding temporary housing.
Mhm.
Was that in the envelope?
William Street or
I'm sorry.
Hedgeway?
Edway,
Yeah.
I'll be okay.
You're having
Um,
flashbacks.
Yes. They actually called me today, right before I came in here. And I just explained that letter is if we get a complaint on something, and we have to follow up on it.
Yeah.
And I did see something that looked like a tiny house, and
Yep.
so that warranted this letter going out, similar to the one that we sent out early in the year to the person who had the RV. If you remember that.
Yep.
Yep. So I just said, we send this out to let you know that you can't do that. But I personally have not physically seen it
This is the letter
Yeah.
that goes to.
to report back to the board. And I said if they have any questions or concerns that they can come to the board and discuss it. But right now it's not in order, it's just, please be advised you can't do that. So they seemed responsive to that. That was Mr. Williams that I spoke to.
Not William Street. Okay.
So I think between that,
So we get the temporary food service permits for the Newton Street
yes,
soiree. or
most of
whatever.
them. 2 are missing. Lucia's and Ruby Donuts, but other than that, RJ from Neshoba Club is responsible for collecting everyone's applications. So everyone else is, the only one I physically saw was Penards because they dropped it off themselves, so, but the rest of them are supposed to be in there, so.
Good stuff.
That sounds good.
Okay. We also have the call log, which I thought was very well done, by the way. Thank you.
Yeah.
So the top one there that was the guy that was talking about a rehab facility that's not even in.
Well, some of those are from last time. I just
Okay.
continued the same document
Yep.
as opposed to making a new one. So the
Okay.
dark line will tell you what's new.
Makes sense.
Is that,
Questions?
no,
No? Yeah?
that would be.
Nope.
Yeah, that he's
I-
mentioning. It's
it's-
not in our,
I don't know, did he say which one it was?
He says he's in Medford.
Yeah.
okay, it's a
We don't
little
go
bit of
quite
a
that
stretch.
far.
He's called a couple of times. From what I gathered, he used to live here, but it sounds like 25 years ago. And I think he's just upset.
Yeah.
I don't think there's anything we can do. I think he's just upset.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I think he just doesn't have anyone else to talk to.
Okay. Well, thank you for that. We have the minutes. You guys said minutes I have to sign, right?
Yes, I do. I have them here.
Okay.
So you can sign them.
So we have the minutes from the previous meeting, which was August 29th. They look good to me. I mean, I didn't
Yeah,
have
I
any.
thought they.
Yeah, I read them.
Okay, great.
Is there a motion?
Absolutely. I move that we accept the minutes
Second.
of the, was it August 24th?
29th.
29th
Yeah.
meeting.
Yeah.
I second.
Motion's made and seconded. Any discussion? Hearing none, all those in favor?
Aye.
There's a vote.
Okay.
Perfect.
Anything else that we have, or?
Yeah, I have an action item from last time that, Bridget, did you get any more info about the tobacco thing? Like, what was the background on
Thank
that?
you.
What?
Do we have that document to sign? Yes.
Yes, I do.
Okay. So,
I don't
that just
sign
spurred
it. I
something
just
in me.
have it.
So, I don't have any more information on, are you talking about the,
Yeah, we had so what we talked about at the last meeting is that we did have the one violation, and I had said that it's just kind of sad because at the time that we redid the tobacco regs, Ayer had a completely clean
Yeah.
record for a number of years.
so yes, Thank you. You just needed to jog that piece of my memory.
Yep, I know.
They're working on trying to get that history for you. So I did
Okay,
email
awesome.
them,
Okay.
and so they are working on that. Hopefully, I can
Yeah,
forward you.
it's-
I can
yeah.
forward you the email.
I don't think it's not like it's an emergency.
Yeah,
Was
no,
the
I
one
mean-
thing, but I just kind of wanted to do, hey, let's not let this slide, you know? We've
Yeah,
got a
no,
pretty good record
definitely.
here.
So they are going back and looking to see if they can
Okay.
get that.
That sounds good. Just
Is this
forward
something
me
you need to
anything.
sign, or
Yes. So, did I forward you the email?
which one?
Tobacco, we had to sign a document.
I don't think so.
Okay, so you have to re-sign the participating municipality agreement.
So
For
we
the
need to
to-
vote to do that then, or?
Some towns are just signing it.
Did we do this with Joan after we had made our?
I know that we have signed on
Yeah.
before. I can't remember the vote.
Did I send you
If
that email?
that
It
it requires
seems-
a vote.
I
would
mean, you
think
sent
just
me
for
that.
public
I don't
record,
know
though,
about the rest
it'd
of
be
it.
nice to have something, so.
Yeah.
Yeah, fine, yeah.
So- What happened is there was something that triggered this being signed by all the towns to let, there's
Okay.
3 towns that are coming back into the Tobacco Control Alliance.
Oh,
So because they're
okay.
coming back in, everybody else has to re-sign.
Okay.
Something to
okay,
that effect.
all
So
right.
that's just what that is just, you've already signed it, from what I can gather,
Yeah,
in order.
yeah, I know
Couple
we've done
years
this
ago.
before,
Yeah.
yes, yeah.
So
But-
do you want to make a motion to reaffirm our participating municipality agreement with the municipal tobacco and public health policy programs, RFR number 190128?
So moved.
You just did that.
I did. Is there a second?
I second it.
Any discussion? Hearing
No.
none.
No, you're not.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Okay. So, it says on the bottom, Board of Health Agent, Health Department Director. Is that me or is that?
That's you.
You.
We're Steve.
Yeah.
So do I need to sign this at all?
Mhm.
Under the chair?
Mhm.
Yep.
Okay.
You and I sign our life away.
Mm.
I've talked to you more in the last week, Bridget, than I have my
I
wife.
know, I'm sorry. But I am really good because sometimes I go to call them and I'll be like, wait a minute, it's 7 o'clock at
No.
night.
He said, are you falling asleep? Yes.
The cutoff is noon. The latest cutoff of the weeknight.
It's bad.
I don't know, I get up really early, so sometimes
Oh,
I forget
yeah.
and I'm like, I'll start sending out emails and I'm like, oh, maybe this is a little too early.
You've gotten really good with me. You know to wait until like
Oh yeah, there's a window with me.
almost 9. Yeah.
Anything else come before the board?
Not that I'm aware of. Nope.
Motion to adjourn?
Yes, absolutely. So
Actually,
moved.
What's that?
sorry. Bridget,
Oh,
you
the
sent me
mail
this.
and stuff.
Oh,
Oh, sorry.
I was gonna say, I was told to bring this, so I brought it.
I'm so consumed by this pond right now that
Yeah.
it's literally taken over my life. There was just this is another consent order for Nasoya, for a fine. It's nothing more than that. It's just the paperwork for
Okay.
that. I just wanted the board to know.
Well, there's been no further complaints on this story. There's been no odor issues that I'm aware of since.
I think a sporadic one might have come in last week, but I don't think there was much. They didn't find much. I don't think.
What is the fine for?
This was for a certain time period.
Didn't they use
In
a trucker
July.
for removing waste that wasn't either licensed? Something happened with a trucker that they were using to haul solids or semi-solids away. There was a fine for that back
Yeah.
in.
It's a $25,255 fine.
Significant.
yep.
For unlicensed.
The other license, there was something, I don't remember the act, but that's from the state, not from the
So
town of
trucks
Ayer.
have to be licensed.
Well, I think hauling
toxic, anything
Hazing waste,
toxic.
Yeah.
Even
yeah.
fill, if it's not clean
Yeah.
fill, if it, depending on where it came from,
Yep.
they have to have a certain, not a hazard, I don't know what the word is, but.
Yeah,
It is,
whatever.
Is it?
yeah,
Clearance
endorsement.
or
Yeah.
authorization, yeah.
But we spoke to the people at Nasoya, and again, they were very cooperative in terms of at least saying the right things, that they would do whatever needed to be done to resolve the odor issue. So
Did you?
I have a terrible memory, and I'm
Want
the
me to
first
send
one
that
to
to-
acknowledge that.
I
seem
it's up to, I can
recall there
either
was
take it,
something
scan it,
with
and then
Nasoya going
send it to
back
them
couple
and send you a
years that
copy
had
so
to
you
go
can have
with,
it.
That would be great.
Like the
Okay.
overflow.
Because they don't
of the
actually
treatment,
know who to send it to.
Yep,
Well,
I'll do it and then I'll,
Did this have
I'll
to do
copy
with
you on it.
wastewater?
I think it was the solids
The
that
solids, okay.
they.
And then there was an upgrade to,
But it didn't work or something. They were trying
yeah, yeah.
the
Yeah.
on-site system. So because the on-site system didn't work, they were hauling the stuff out
Out.
to a
Okay.
plant to be processed. I believe that's it.
The other reason that I'm wondering if this is a repeat issue is that this is has been in the past. I'm not saying it is with the current management, but kind of a repeat issue with Nasoya where the people that come and talk to us are very receptive and
Mhm.
they're very amenable and they get it and they put in great plans. Then they change management. And so then you've got to make new arrangements and plans and agreements. And the new management is always very cooperative. It's never been a lack of cooperation. It's more of a lack of follow through from one management team to the next.
I also remember reading somewhere, unless it was you, Steve, that we had a phone conversation about the history of these types of plants, not just in air. They're usually situated way out away
Yes.
from resident, and you don't get that
Right.
waft of,
Yeah.
on the air. It's usually so far away and it's contained.
Right.
And
Right.
they've been so close to residential areas that,
Yeah.
This
Yeah.
this goes back a year. It goes to August 6, 2021. So this is, I believe, the original.
okay.
Effective immediately,
Okay,
mark and
okay.
label all containers accumulating hazardous waste at the facility with the words hazardous waste. The hazardous waste identified in words and type, blah, blah, blah. But I believe this is still
This is
the-
just the formal,
Yeah.
like, fine coming through.
Well, I think the
Okay.
fine already happened, but it's now, we're telling you that either you need to pay the fine or
Mm.
it's letting us know that the process has moved forward with this.
Okay. Right. Okay.
We don't need to do anything with this though.
Just file it.
Okay.
I will file it.
So we had a motion and we seconded it, and it's irrefutable. All those in favor to adjourn?
Aye.
Aye.